Juventus 2, Man City 0. Yet another loss for Guardiola. 1 win in 10 now. And that result was so poor because the performance was actually really good in big moments throughout the game. And every time Juventus counter-attacked, particularly in the second half, it was like a knife through Lurpak unsalted. I've never seen anything like it. Defensive emptiness in the midfield in a way that is almost indescribable even to Sunday League footballers, honestly. Because I just don't understand the spaces in the midfield. I don't understand the lack of distance that this City side are able to cover, because this City side were working hard throughout so much of the game, so much quality on the ball. Rico Lewis, Jack Grealish, Gundogan, De Bruyne, all having great games on the ball. But when that ball gets turned over, and Juventus, we all know what Juventus are under Thiago Motta. They're a very counter-attacking side. They soak up pressure, got good wing-backs and wingers that bomb forward. They're not a dynamic side, in my opinion. They're not a special side. They're not going to win the Champions League in a million years. I could guarantee you that. They're not a good side in that regard, but they have certain qualities, and they just cut through City like butter. It was crazy. So it's now displaying that Pep Guardiola is unable to change things that is happening on the pitch after over, 2 months now this has been going on. He is completely hamstrung by injuries. Major players aren't available still. But ultimately, there's still some issues on the pitch where you think the best striker, arguably, in world football still, in Erling Haaland, De Bruyne, Ruben Diaz, Ederson came back in today as well. It should be a lot better than 2-0. It really should. I'm talking about defensively because I think there's some optimistic things to look at from City on the ball. We're going to talk about all the goals, where City go from here. I think it's PSG next in the Champions League. We might get relegated out of the Champions League, if that's even possible. But make sure you subscribe if you're new to the channel as well. Would really appreciate it. Going to do a breakdown of all the Champions League games tomorrow. This is crazy. The first goal was a calamity upon calamities. And let's just be completely real. 0-0 into the second half. City had all of the ball, created so many chances. We'll break down the Erling Haaland chance later. But a ball gets whipped in from the right-hand side into the centre-back, Gatti, who'd made a big run into the box. He's doing bicycle kicks. It's like Ronaldo. It was like Ronaldo against Juventus in Cardiff City Stadium, or the Millennium Stadium. And Ederson makes a decent save. I think he makes a hash of it. It kind of bounces around a little bit. Gvardiol gets on the ball because the ball gets pushed out to him, which I think is poor from Ederson, in my opinion. And then Gvardiol plays the ball back out to the left winger, Yildiz, who was fantastic today. And Yildiz whips the ball back in for Vlahovic, who gets a good head on it. Well, it's a decent head. It's not even a good head. It's not Les Ferdinand. It's not a good head. I think Ederson should do better. That's my gut reaction. Maybe the reaction save is I'm being a little bit critical, but it's not a world-class header into the corner. It's straight at Ederson. I think maybe he could be doing a little bit better. Again, the ball in is another example of Gvardiol. When that ball gets whipped in with a bit of dead weight and it hangs in the air, Gvardiol positionally is a little bit off of it. And maybe the explosivity to get into the air and clear things isn't quite there yet. He gets caught under things quite a lot. He has in the last few weeks been found out from those positions. I don't think he's been helped out by... He's kind of 1 minute a left back, 1 minute a centre back. I still think he's getting caught in no man's land at points. But if you're a big, powerful, expensive centre back getting a cross delivered like that, Vlahovic should not be beating you in the air, should not be getting above you, in my opinion. And it's too easy. It's too easy. And then he gets there, Vlahovic. I look at some of these Juve players. I can't believe they've beaten City 2-0. I really can't believe it. With all due respect, the Italian league this isn't George Weah. Do you know what I mean? In the 90s and Ronaldo and all that. I mean, it's an average Juve side. Good defensively. Danilo at left back. Couldn't really do it with Man City a few years ago. I'm not trying to be nasty. I mean, it's a decent Juve side, but they're not pulling up trees, are they? Let's be completely real. They're not pulling up trees. They're not. And it's a decent header, goal line technology, and it's a goal. They justified it. And then after that, any time Juve got the ball, it could have been 3 or 4-0 today. It really could. And it's the same that Spurs had, same that Liverpool have had, same with Brighton, same with Bournemouth, same with Sporting Lisbon. It's yet another game where City can't win away from home as well. The record, I think, is 4 wins all season away from home. And City just can't get City can't get a foot on the ball in a commanding, physical way. Don't play things first time. De Bruyne was far too slow on the ball, particularly when you're chasing the game as well, in my opinion. Lost the ball far too many times, trying too many things when you're 1-0 down against Juventus. And again, whatever I say about Juve, they're a powerhouse of European football, a historic club of epic kind of European proportions. The fans are going to make things tough for you. They're going to fight for their lives. And then this ball gets whipped in from Timothy Weah, who obviously his dad played for Manchester City many moons ago, and it's a beautiful bicycle kick from McKennie, who got relegated with Leeds United a few years ago. You know, I'm not trying to slag these players off, but you know, these guys they're not prime footballers. They're not world class footballers. I would argue no one in the Juve side is a world class player, but they all operate at such an unbelievable level of confidence. I think City allowed that today. There was one passage of play from City which it should have put City 1-0 up, in my opinion. A beautiful ball from İlkay Gundogan. It felt like 2021 all over again. Playing this deep lying ball through the heart of the Juve midfield into De Bruyne. De Bruyne plays a little inverted ball into Erling Haaland. Erling Haaland has to do better. I'm seeing lots of praise on Twitter for De Bruyne, for İlkay Gundogan. Erling Haaland has to put his foot through it. He has to smash it or really go for the chip. It's kind of a weird, soft dink. And you have to be critical because Erling Haaland touched the ball. He must have touched the ball 10 times today. There was definitely a moment I was nearly asleep. It's getting late. I'm sat there watching it and I'm thinking he's only touched it. I can only remember 7 touches. And then the game ended. I'm thinking he must have touched it less than 10 times. He must have. And I'm not up to Joe or anything, but it's absolutely crazy. He's not involved in the play. And there was a moment where Ederson gets the ball in the first half, and you're looking for that first goal. You're looking for that opening. You're looking for City to get up the pitch, and he plays an unbelievable ball, Ederson. That's why I think he got brought back in today to play that extra ball over the top when the Juve players may be a little bit tired or recovering, to play that shock ball over the top. And he played a great ball. Must have been 50 yards, drilled it through the heart of the pitch. And Erling Haaland's first touch, it just took I think it went for a throw-in or it went to the right back or something like that. I mean, it was just a shocking touch from Erling Haaland. And I know that it's like living off scraps when the keeper's drilling it into you, but you have to fight for your life for every ball. You have to believe that it's the last touch you're going to have. Because usually with this City side in the last few weeks, it has been. I just feel Erling Haaland didn't really cherish the ball. He didn't really, the great strikers, they cherish the ball. They keep hold of it like they're never going to get it again. And Erling Haaland's very wasteful with his first touch, in my opinion, the last few weeks. Again, I think you can be critical of Erling Haaland because of how great he can be. Look at his numbers in the Champions League. He's on the same numbers as Pippo and Inzaghi. He's probably got 15 years left in his footballing career. But his first touch, it's not streetwise enough. It's not savvy. There's a lack of savviness in the City side, a lack of streetwise. It reminded me of Man City when City first got into the Champions League under Roberto Mancini. Some unbelievable players. You're talking Yaya Toure, Tevez, Aguero. But there was this lack of European nous. There was a lack of European expertise. Hard games against, I think, Villarreal, and you're talking Napoli and Bayern Munich. This is the first season, I think it was, in the Champions League, and City couldn't get out of the group, fell into the Europa League. And it feels like that now. It feels like this City side, sluggish, very vulnerable to the counter-attack. Any side in Europe can do you on the counter-attack, because they're always going to have fantastic players that are at the top of their game in their respective leagues. But this City side are leaps and bounds above Juve in terms of quality on the ball, creating big chances. And it just didn't click. It didn't click. This City side, the only way City can do anything this season on any level is making it a 3-2, 4-3, 2-1, 3-1 kind of wins. That's the only way. City aren't going to keep clean sheets because there's no legs in midfield. Rico Lewis is coming into midfield from a left-back position. İlkay Gundogan's got no legs. He's got no legs. Gvardiol isn't a centre-back at the moment. He's basically training to be a centre-back. I know he played there, obviously, at his former club. But he's not really a centre-back at the moment. He's never played there for City. This is his first few weeks playing there. So he's been basically played out of position from his naturalised City position as a left-back. Kyle Walker's completely gone. Look at his confidence for the first goal. Absolutely shot. And I know City don't want to have to play some of these players because it's fair on them to rest, rotate. You know, you want a Kanji in there and Stones and Phil Foden, and it would change massively. Oscar Bob up front would have caused a lot of havoc today if he was fit. Kovacic, Rodri, there's a lot of players that are out. Nathan Ake would have been a fantastic option today as well. But the players that are fit have to do a little bit better, in my honest opinion. And then I have to comment on the substitutions. Manchester derby on the weekend, huge. Man United are generationally embarrassing to themselves, to the Premier League. You know, everything going on off the pitch, everything going on the pitch. Ruben Amorim's a shining light. But, you know, what Jim Ratcliffe's doing, making everyone unemployed, going on Indeed tomorrow morning. And Man United, because of how bad the City form are, they've got a great opportunity. And for me, I look at it and I think there's two big substitutions that I don't quite get. The first one, Doku, is still chasing the game. Doku's been probably the best player for City, burning people and creating big chances. That connection with Erling Haaland has to be worked on because there was at least 2 or 3 crosses. Doku gets into the box and Haaland is nowhere to be seen. And surely that's his one remit. He has to be linking up with that kind of wide play, winger play. He has to be getting on the end of things like that. Surely Erling Haaland and Doku have to work together a little bit more in training about that kind of connection. Surely. The second one is De Bruyne played the whole game. And by the end, the final 10 minutes, I don't get how he'll play against Manchester United. I really don't get it because he looks stiff. He doesn't look fully fit still. And this is not criticism. We can't criticize a legend, a living legend like De Bruyne. And De Bruyne had a decent game. But why is he playing the whole game? Why is Ilkay Gundogan playing the whole game? Kovacic on the bench. You don't want to play him really for obvious reasons. I'm guessing he'll start in the Manchester derby. But you got James McAtee on the bench. Phil Foden was warming up, didn't come on. Maybe I get that because he's been injured as well. Nico O'Reilly. There's a couple of players that could have come in, that have had experience this season, played minutes. Maybe could have changed things a little bit earlier, or at least bring them on. Mateus Nunes came on today as well, but that was very late for Jack Grealish. You feel like the substitutions aren't keeping players fresh for the next challenge, and maybe Guardiola he's not cutting his losses quick enough. City have lost the game by the 75th minute. The game's over. We all know it is. And De Bruyne plays an extra 20 minutes. Maybe I'm wrong in saying that, but there are certain players that you can clearly keep on. Jeremy Doku wants to play every second of every minute. He's a young kid raring to go. De Bruyne you have to treat like a Fabergé egg. You have to wrap him in cotton wool. How's he playing the whole game? I don't know. It's another loss for City. I'll be doing a Manchester derby preview on the channel soon, so make sure you subscribe for that. I don't know what to say, really. This Juve side aren't special, but they beat us 2-0, and it's 1 win in 10 for Guardiola. Where do Guardiola and Man City go from here? Let me know what you think in the comments down below, and I'll see you very, very soon.